Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Damn good coffee and boom.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking.
I'm awake.
That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
You know what? I've had enough already. I'm just calling it a week. Oh, yeah. Can we do this before the music ends? Yeah, sure. Just a little LSD to get the day started. Love my coffee. Love my coffee. Good morning, America. It is Monday, your favorite day of the week, February 26th, 2024. I hope you're having a lovely day. Fool Spring is here in New York. Fool Spring, if you don't know what that means, it means it's kind of a tease of spring, but you could always get that little blizzard, that little winter storm, throwing a monkey wrench in things. But it's starting to feel a little bit like spring. My attitude towards life is changing because I hate winter, and spring is my, spring hopes eternal, all that kind of blah, 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 blah. I love it. I love it. Sunshine. It's a little bit warm enough for me. And I'm, believe it or not, kind of in a good mood. That's unusual for me. I say kind of in a good mood. Yesterday, I had some redemption. If you are old enough to remember last month when I played at the country place, Daisy's, Nashville, in Patchogue, New York, I bombed. And I freely admit that I sucked that day, even though people who were there argue differently. I know I sucked that day. But yesterday, I had some redemption. I pretty much killed yesterday. I was on, and that felt good. And it was a packed room. And I tell you what, it comes down to me being like a dirty old man. The room was packed with young ladies. And here's the thing. They kept coming up with song requests, and I knew them, every song they requested. And then they always respond with, and throwing money in my guitar case. That's always a good thing. Throw money in my guitar case. That makes the gig a little bit more enjoyable, I have to say. So it was a very good time. Just at the end of the show, though, I did 2 encores, and I did a bunch of original material, and the original material went over very well. And I love that. When I actually got applause and people asking where they could buy the original songs. Yeah, that doesn't happen to me on every gig, I got to tell you, if I'm being honest. But I played 2 encores. The second encore I only played because the guy came up with $20 and said, "Can you play this song?" And of course, I am such a whore that I will play any song. I will play any 3-minute song or 5-minute song for $20. I figure that's worth my time. But that was it was time to go. I knew it was time to go because a drunk guy came up and stood 2 feet in front of my face and sang off key, like tone deaf, in my face loudly for the whole 3 minutes, which was comical, but a little bit like, all right, this is enough. I got to get out of here. If you're just coming out from under a rock, and I don't mean the Iraq, Iraq, um, probably have sick of, or you probably haven't heard all the bullshit about Shane Gillis actually this week. Now, to me, there's a lot of rumblings. Jesus, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to, people arguing over whether it was good, whether it was bad, um, and whether he deserves it or, and everything. And there was some people trying to make outrage of him making jokes about Down syndrome, but he's making jokes that were about his family having Down syndrome and then witnessing people beating up people who were picking on Down syndrome stuff. Personally, I thought it was a letdown. Only saw the monologue, and I've only seen it. I did not watch it on the show. Um, I only saw the monologue on Twitter, and I thought it was far below his standard. But I realized, and he even said this, that most of his material is not safe for television. Now, that said, it was pretty weak. It was pretty weak, and he seemed a little nervous. His family was there. And the only thing that I was looking for was a Norm moment where he kind of took Lorne Michaels to task over the whole idea of firing him in the first place. He never really did that. He mentioned, I've been fired. Yeah, don't look that up. That's basically what it was. So I was disappointed. But the amount of chit chatting back and forth and people who will resent him or people who love him. I'm seeing people over the top saying it was great, it was hilarious. No, I'm sorry. I like Shane Gillis. I'm a fan of Shane Gillis. That was not his best. That wasn't even him at his good. Never mind his best. It was not great. Um, and then people are arguing about the band not laughing at his monologue. Keep in mind, the band has heard the monologue a minimum of 6 times by the time he actually does it live. And it wasn't his best stuff. And so imagine being yourself, listening to a comedian do a monologue 6 times in a row, or 6 times in 3 days, or whatever the rehearsal schedule is. And then trying to force yourself to laugh at the same jokes you've heard already. It's very difficult. So my take on it is there's a lot of people who very bitter, angry that they're not more successful than they are, and would love that Saturday Night Live position and hosting or even being on the show. And we're jealous and spiteful and all that kind of stuff. And then there are some people who are just Shane Gillis cheerleaders who just have the opposite take, and nobody is actually looking at it objectively. He's a good comedian, not his best performance. That's the truth. You can argue with me, but I'm right. Um, one more thing on the comedy front, I just wanted to talk about before we introduce you to the Dog Pound. Um, Last week, a comedy club in the Northwest, and I'm not remembering what the club was. It's insignificant. They canceled 4 shows, dates for 4 comedians. Now, canceled is a triggering word these days, but they canceled 4 dates for comedians who I generally am not a fan of. All 4 of them, 3 out of 4, I would say, are hard right-wing comedians, and one of them is a libertarian who's not really a comedian. He's just a pundit who doesn't really say anything funny. He just wants to convince you of how smart he is. That would be Dave Smith. So it was Louis J. Gomez, Jim Florentine, Dave Smith, and Kurt Metzger. Kurt Metzger went online and posted the letter he got from the club. Now, the club suggested that it was politically motivated to cancel these guys, but not so much politically motivated as financially motivated. Now, hear me out here. They did say that the sensitivities of the community where the club is very liberal, and that was the reason uh, for canceling the dates and not having these comedians there. The fact of it is they weren't selling tickets because people know they're right wing. Yes, it's a very liberal community, so yeah, it was politically motivated, but not on the club's perspective. That was the excuse they were making, and I'm basically trying to explain that we aren't selling tickets because you guys don't appeal to this audience. That's all it really was. But Kurt Metzger had to make a big thing of it, post it on Twitter, and then get the fans of them harassing the club. About 6 hours later, Louis J. Gomez goes on and tells all the fans to stop harassing the club. This isn't helpful. Well, you know what? You lit the fire. You poured gas on the fire, and now you're telling people, oh, maybe we should call the fire department. Maybe you shouldn't make a big drama scene out of every time you get a date canceled. I've had dates canceled. You don't go online and start your fans or try to incite, I don't know, boycotts or whatever. You just take it like a man. You deal with the club one-on-one. They sent you a letter. You can respond to that letter. That's my take on it. You know what? You can argue with me on that, and I might be wrong. Unlike the Shane Gillis commentary, where I am not wrong. I'm absolutely right. One last thing. I got a letter, and this is funny. Well, I think it's funny. Maybe you'll agree it's funny, but I could be wrong on that too, and you can argue with me. It says, "Dear Mr. Napo, I hope this email finds you well. My name is Tina, representing VQI Media, and I'm reaching out to you today to discuss a potential collaboration opportunity regarding our product. Zhangjijuo, I don't know, Xiangjjiu, delay spray for men, longer sex, delay ejaculation for men, second generation, 6 milliliter. We have been following you and your YouTube channel closely and are impressed by the engaging content you create. We believe that our product would be a great fit for your audience." That's you. They think delay ejaculation spray would be a good fit for you. Not me. Or maybe it may be me, but more of the audience. They say in the audience. I don't want to read you the whole rest of this letter. It goes on. It's a very long letter, but they're willing to send samples to try out and see if they're a good fit for us to use on the program. I don't know how we would test it in a way that would not get us canceled from every platform we were on. But maybe we could give it to Willie and I don't know, let him test it on GD. I don't know. That would be good. Watch Willie testing it on GD live on the program. Speaking of Willie, he's here.
Yo.
What? Good morning. What's in your cup? Ejaculation spray?
Good morning. Mind Dog TV, the only place to get your Mind Dog TV athletic footwear, unless it's available some other places. Mind Dog TV footwear.
Yes, that's true. I keep forgetting that. You know what? I gotta fix that
because available on eBay as soon as somebody gets a pair.
Yeah, right. I don't even really have a really good mechanism for selling. There is a store app in the website that I got to put it in, but I just put up a PayPal button for.
Oh, I forgot the last line. I'm sorry. The last line.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
What's the last line?
Yeah.
How do you what?
Come on into minddogtv.com and try on a pair. That's it.
You can't. Yeah, these.
Yeah.
Air doggies.
That was a good one.
I only made a PayPal button, and the PayPal button doesn't let you choose a size or men's or women's or any of that stuff. So I got
they're shoes.
I got to put them in the store. I got to put them in the store and put all the variants in there. It's work. I don't want to do the work. I'm lazy. Anyway,
the same people who made the shoes do that for you.
Okay, so I just want to go on record and be clear. I still have not kept down anything I've ate since Thursday. So.
Wow.
So I don't know what the deal is, but I'm here. Hi.
Well, it's not that. Wow. Good morning. I hope you feel better. It's
Yeah.
not that 24-hour bug that they were talking about going around. Anyway,
I mean, like so, like the body ache that I had that only lasted about a day, and like for the most part, I feel better. I feel better until I eat. As soon as I eat something, all I want to do is throw up. Like, and I might wait 3 hours. I'll spend 3 hours like fighting the urge, and then I'll finally go yak. And then I sleep for a few hours, and then I'm alive again. And it's a weird pattern.
do you smoke marijuana?
Yeah, I've been smoking weed again.
Is that better for your stomach, or does that heal you, or does that make you feel better? I mean, stomach-wise, help you keep.
I mean, it doesn't seem to hurt. It probably
Doesn't
helps
hurt.
me
Yeah.
eat. It helps me want to eat because, like, yesterday when my wife suggested even giving me broth, I about threw up. I was like, "Don't you even dare! Don't bring me a cup of broth. I'll throw up on you." Like, don't make me do that. Like,
Our guest is already here and waiting. I know that my little spiel, I guess, was longer than I thought there this morning.
It was good though. It was good.
Shane Gillis
And not
stuff.
a bad analysis.
All
Not
right.
a bad analysis. It was good, but it wasn't great. I think that he did it in a safe manner where he'd be invited back. You know what I mean? And I think he did do well enough to be invited back as well. I thought the skits he did and the digital short or whatever they call them when they pre-tape stuff, that was really good. So I think they'll invite him back, and I think that they regretted their decision. You know what I mean? But I
he
definitely don't think
he didn't stick it to Lauren, and that's what I really, and not like a hard stick it. I like the way Norm did it. I think Norm did it very well, and I just because to
But
me
I think Norm had an allowance of already having had been a commodity there.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
get it.
mean? And there's a little bit of difference in that.
But their hypocrisy definitely needs to be called out on this. Listen, if the guy was a racist and a homophobe, too bad
Yeah, he
to
wouldn't
be
do
on
that.
the show. Then he didn't change. All that changed was that people like him more than they like Saturday Night.
You found out how popular he really was.
They're more popular than that show. He's more popular than that show on his own.
For sure.
So
I mean, I didn't tune in directly to the episode, but I watched a lot of their YouTube content afterward.
Right. GD, you got any comments on this or no?
My wife and I watched it on Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon. Sunday, we watched it together, and my wife, she thought that Shane had 2 good jokes. I thought that he had 3, but I understood that's not his milieu. So I understand. And my wife says, well, if that's not his milieu, why is he doing it? He should stick with what he does best. And I
Why
said,
does she have to say milieu? Why can't you just say it's his thing? That ain't his.
Because she's French Canadian. Nobody comes into your house and tell you and your wife how to talk, do they?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
no, nobody comes to my house. They call me, or they write me emails.
Okay. Well,
Nobody.
Now I'm in my house, and this is how my wife and I talk when we're at home alone, without people judging us.
Well, you're not alone.
Well, no, I'm just
judgment free. Must be nice.
Yes, I'm trying to be accurate. I try desperately hard to stick to the truth, as much as I can.
Oh, that's why she keeps you as a lapdog, apparently, to sit here and watch the show with me. Watch the show with me.
When he doesn't, he makes sure to confess his sins to the Rev.
Sit on the couch, buy me flowers, kiss my ass on TV and radio.
Oh, it's okay. You're making fun of me, but buying her flowers has kept me out of jail. Okay, if I had stolen the flowers or robbed the flowers.
Hey, listen. Listen, there's no time, there's no need to get personal like that.
Of course there is.
He brought it up. Willie, I'm just saying he's the one that made light of me buying my wife flowers.
That's right.
Saying, if I had stolen the flowers or robbed the flowers, I may wind up in jail. I'm
the one who sucker punched you, and you took it out on Willie.
Yeah.
Hang on one second.
I didn't take
there's something I want to say. This is an aspect of me getting arrested and stuff that I know I've never told you guys before. So
there's an
when I first got arrested. Yeah. When I first got arrested, my bail was set at $10,000 cash, and so like it wasn't like a bond thing. I couldn't do the 10%. It had to be $10,000 cash, and like there was no way we were ever going to come up with that. And so we asked for a bond reduction hearing, right? And so we go to this bond reduction hearing, and I think that we're going to get my bail lowered. And the judge says, actually, in this case, I don't think the bail is high enough, and I'm going to set it at $25,000 cash. And I was like, no, Judge, we were trying to go the other way. You know, like I don't know why. Like, no, that's not. Yeah. So I didn't. Yeah, I stayed in.
Ralph Dice Clay, who's been on this program, and we do have to get to the guest, but I just want to say that Ralph Dice Clay, who has been on this program, he's a friend of mine, and his brother Vinny both have been on this program. When they got arrested in 1983, they went for their they were the bail hearing, and the judge said I think it was $30,500,000, and
my God.
Exactly. It reacts like I think at the time it was a Guinness World Book record. They I guess the judge was under some misconception that they were like who was that Carlos Escobar or Pablo Escobar or like a head of the cartels or something. But that stood for probably 2 weeks before they actually had lawyers come in and figure it out and reduce the bail. But that was their first thing, like mouth dropping, like what
the fuck? Yeah, right.
I think there's been a mistake. That's kind of like me.
Right, yeah, there's been a mistake.
Yeah, when the guy he said he was going to give me 10 years in jail for basically a parking ticket, I was like, I think there's been a mistake. I don't hear very well. I don't think I'm supposed to be. It wasn't me. It was Michael Nappy. Michael Nappy.
Oh my God.
Michael Nappy was supposed to get 10 years. I stood in his place like, wait a minute. Something's wrong here.
You got the wrong guy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, traffic court and criminal court all in one little thing in Hempstead, by the way. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, we do have to get to our guests. Let me maybe this commercial is the reason they are reaching out to us.
Oh, I'm more than willing, by the way.
More than willing. He's more than willing. Anyway, let's see. Let's go with this one here. I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. What happened to the fleshlight? It says relight. Oh, not fleshlight. It's not called fleshlight, is it?
That was the Luminar Neo.
I think this audience should be highly offended. Probably should cancel me, boycott this show. So what happens here is you press the red button for forced ejaculation, but if you got the spray that's going to make you delay ejaculation, you're going to just end up in a fucking coma.
Now with new technology.
Now with new ejaculation technology. Anyway, it's time to get on to the next our guest.
I think Declan wants to talk about it. I think he wants to talk about it. He seemed interested in the product.
Declan Brooks is a comedian podcaster out of Philadelphia who's been traveling the world. I don't know how long he's been at the comedy game, but we're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Declan Brooks, the comedian podcaster from Philadelphia. Good morning, Declan.
Good morning, gentlemen. I can't wait to talk to my mom about this interview, especially with that commercial. I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm doing a podcast interview today. It's gonna be great." And like the commercial right before my introduction is the
yeah. Well, it's kind of mixed messages because we have a collaboration offer from a company that had. Oh, wait! I got my own dog. A collaboration from a company that has a spray out that will delay your ejaculation, and they have this product now that we are selling that will force
We
your
could do a
ejaculation.
product versus product head to head.
No, I think
Like,
it would end up somebody being in a coma. It would be really
It's a
bad.
dog
So
fight. It's
When-
a,
when
it's
you-
a
listen. If
So
I
you
gotta
got-
go to the hospital, that's a reason why I'm okay with that. That's all
I
right.
think there's a cross promotion here, considering the products we're trying to push here, and that it says Declan loves meatballs. I
Yeah.
think that we have like a good cross promotion here.
you love meatballs, do you?
I do love meatballs. I'm Italian Irish, and I think one of my favorite snacks walking in the house when I was a kid was a meatball. And then I'm from I live just south of Philadelphia, so we have Wawas everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I've been known to be the purveyor of the 3 a.m. cup of meatballs at Wawa. You know what I mean?
Now, Wawa's is not a national thing. It's definitely not a worldwide thing. Explain to people what the hell you mean when you say we have Wawa's everywhere,
So
because
yeah,
sounds kind of kinky.
Yeah, Wawa actually is a convenience store chain based on the Northeast and actually spread all the way down to Florida now. It's like they added like a deli counter with a convenience store, and you can get everything you want from like a crispy chicken sandwich all the way over to like a what we call hoagies. I almost said it without having to explain it. A sub
Yeah.
sandwich.
We call them heroes here. You call them hoagies. Some people call
Yeah.
them subs. We
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what you're
yeah.
talking about. Now, the question remains now: how does GD know that you have an affinity for meatballs?
Yeah, so I made sure
It's
that I
in
put
his
that on
name.
here. Yeah, it's my
I wasn't reading that.
yeah, it's my Instagram name. It's actually people say they like the name, so I like to make sure that I advertise it.
I forgot GD likes to read.
Hey, we're the ones that provide hope. Never forget that, GD. We're the ones that bring the hope. It's okay.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your comedy career and how long you've been doing it. Oh, he's gone. He fired himself. That's good.
So I am coming up on 2 years in August. I started it's funny, most people would like when I ask people like in the comedy scene, like how did they get started? They like started like while they were in college at an open mic by like their bar that they went to, or like they started in town like around friends that had been doing comedy. I'm a big comedy fan. I love podcasts. I was a huge fan of Kill Tony, probably like in my early 20s when it was early Kill Tony in LA and everything. And it definitely always like made me romance the idea of comedy and being a comedy fan. I was like, I'll try this one day. And I'll be 29 this year, but on my 27th birthday, I went out and tried comedy. And I actually was like, I went out for my birthday that night, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get up on a stage, I'm gonna do comedy. And like I was late by like 5 minutes, so I got to the stage, and the guy was like, oh, are you a comic? I'm like, no, man, it's my first night. I'm trying it tonight. And he's like, oh man, list's full. Sorry. So I got to watch my first night of comedy, and that was in Albany, New York, at the Madison Theater. And then like 3 weeks later, I tried it at the Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So
Wow.
I travel for work, and I work in a regional position. I'm based out of Philadelphia, but I go all over the country for work. And kind of like instead of being stuck inside of the hotel every night, the idea is just go out every night, make the best of it, and do
That's
comedy.
great. Good for you. Yeah. No, good plan.
At
Now,
least 2 nights a week.
did you have material prepared that first time, or were you just winging it?
I definitely made some notes in my phone. A couple things I thought were funny in my head, like anecdotal stories I was going to bring up real quick. I made fun of my accent. Did I? If you meet me in a dark room, you'll be like, "Who the hell is that guy? And what part of Philadelphia is he from?" Because I got a pretty bad accent some nights, and I made fun of our local words like John and our accent. So yeah, I had a couple of things. I had fun. You ever met the comedian Think Floyd? Do you guys know him at all? He's a Connecticut
Who?
comedian. Think Floyd.
Pink Floyd?
He think like the word thinking. He's actually JB Smooth's cousin, and he works in the Stress Factory.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
that was who I got to. He was my host the first night I got to do comedy, so it was pretty cool. It was a very momentous experience, and yeah, man, I had some material planned, not a ton. Now I have like notebooks full and my phone's full of notes. Definitely.
Don't take it to Detroit, Denver. By the way, that notebook.
No.
Just that's a reference to Willie losing his notebook in Denver.
No.
But on the
Hey,
other
shut that
hand,
dog up.
there's a comedian who's now has a great new career using Willie's jokes, and Willie doesn't have that career.
I actually
I've lost my notebook a number of times, bro.
I love
And like
Yeah.
I had a bunch of tools stolen, and I had a joke book that I kept on my job sites with me, and they took my first joke book with them in a job box that they stole out of my pickup truck in Connecticut one night.
Yeah.
Well,
Now-
Shane Gillis actually found Willie's book, and look what it's done for him.
There you go.
That's not. That's not.
Being,
That's not that.
being 29, I remember being 29 and thinking my world was coming to an end because 30 was old. But from my perspective now, looking back, 29 is a baby, and you have the whole world in front of you. What is your perspective on this? Does the number, the decade change frighten you or excite you, or or you just ambivalent towards it?
So I definitely felt the creep forward probably in the past month or so. Because I'll turn 29 in June, and then I have that last year left to get everything in and say I did it before I was 30. So I just had my first kid. You know what I mean? I have a 10-month-old son. That's making everything exciting. So it's pretty exciting to get that stuff out of the way before I'm 30. So I don't have to say I'm like an old dad. I'm still a young dad because I had a kid when I was in my 20s. But yeah, man, I'm excited, honestly. Like it's I find like because of how often I get to do this stuff, because it's not so few and far between. I had a really fun year of being 27 and 28 doing comedy, and I'm really looking forward to 29.
Very
It's been
cool.
fun.
Very cool. Well, I hope it works out for you. Now, is it your style? Would you give us an example? Not an example, but describe what your comedy stylings are and like sort of influences. I don't want to. You don't have to go through names of all the people you thought were great, but what
Yeah.
people can expect from your comedy performance: storyteller, joke teller, one-liners.
A little bit, a mix of everything. Not like so much to where it's muddy, but like I do like silly jokes. Like I have a silly joke I've been saying recently. Like it's so silly I hate saying it, but it's like what drugs are ducks doing nowadays? What would you say?
Meth.
Yeah, I said heroin because quack's out. You know what I mean? I like silly shit like that. I've been telling like anecdotal stories. Like I've been telling like stuff that's like happened to me growing up. Like my dad took me to be like the DD when I got my driver's permit for a night of a boxing gambling night in AC. Like I get to tell stories about like growing up and everything. It's very like interesting growing up in the Philadelphia suburbs area because like either you like have a very like normal life or you definitely don't. So a lot of people get to catch the stories about me just growing up like in the areas that like I got to experience and things that have happened to me, things I find funny. I talk about the internet a little bit, nothing like crazy. I don't think I'm like a current event comedian. I try to be current so that you stay like relevant in the conversation, but I'm definitely not up there going like, "Did you see what happened on the news today?"
Right.
I definitely just try to be,
That's good because
make fun of
that
what was
material
funny.
gets old really quick.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
really does.
Especially when
Gotta show
everybody's
love.
saying it, especially
Yeah.
in an
I
open
will
mic.
say that
I still do jokes about the Kennedy assassination. It never gets old.
No, never.
I mean, that is true. He did do a Back into the Left reference not long ago. I remember that. But we both laughed at it. We
Yeah.
both laughed at it. If people laugh, it doesn't matter how old the reference
Right,
is.
that's just
It's
it.
will people understand the reference?
What
Thank
was
you.
the,
That's
what
my
was the
point.
context of that? It wasn't
It
about
doesn't
JFK.
matter. It doesn't
It was
matter. I
about
don't
the
know anything
Kennedy
about-
family.
I don't know anything about comedy, so I don't keep track.
Well,
of
obviously, if you
context.
say the context doesn't matter, you definitely don't know anything about comedy because
Right.
context always matters.
I don't agree, but we can agree to disagree.
No, we
Oh,
can't.
my
It was
God,
the
Jesus.
way we disagree is this. Now,
There we go.
that's
Yes.
that's how you disagree. You don't disagree with the host. No, you're disagreeing.
Ozzy stays real
That's
good.
right.
Sticking
Oh
my
my
phone
God,
real
no,
good,
not
boss.
that again.
Not that
I'm
again.
sticking
Well,
my
it is
phone
still
real good, boss.
it is still Black History Month for a few more days, so
God,
he has
bro.
license to do that. But I hope his wife comes in
Yeah.
and beats the
We only
piss
allow
out
him
of
to
him.
pull that joke out in February, or that
Where-
voice
yeah.
out in February.
Where his real master comes out and beats the shit out of him. She comes walking through that door. And then,
Bro,
I love my wife.
I'd shit one day if he was doing that shit. If he's
Yeah.
ever doing that shit, and his wife comes out with comes at him with a shoe in hand, I'm gonna be like, "You so had that shit coming." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
We have a couple of videos of my wife either spanking me or hitting me with a broomstick, depending on what we're doing. But it's only twice been caught on film.
Now, Declan, are you aware that your name is a famous name from a famous athlete?
An athlete. Okay, I've never heard an athlete example. What is it?
I think I believe it's a
Brooks Robinson.
Oh, you're saying the full name? Like
Declan Brooks is, I
Yeah, he's
believe.
a BMXer. He's a
I believe Declan Brooks is a world famous soccer star, but I don't follow soccer.
yeah.
But when I was Googling you, and I hope you didn't hurt you too bad when I was
Nah,
Googling you.
probably nothing came up.
Declan Brooks, the soccer star, just kept coming up all over the place. So I'm assuming he's famous. Otherwise, he wouldn't be coming up all over Google when I Googled Declan Brooks.
There's two Declan Brookses that I know of that are athletes. Actually, now that you say it, there's the soccer star that you just brought up that I've only heard once, and then there's actually like a famous BMXer for like the UK, I believe. It's like when like they brought BMX into the Olympics, he was like their Dave Mira. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not that cool. I definitely am not. The only cool person I know with the name Declan, Elvis Costello's real name is Declan. So
Fashion Chops is stuck on these delivery man jokes, pizza delivery. I don't know. He's been watching too much pizza porn, whatever they call that. I don't know. It's been like a week. We still wants to know about this stuff. Have you fallen into, and don't try not to fall into this trap, but I'm wondering if you are, the conversations about comedians who, like about the Shane Gillis thing. Everybody has a really strong opinion about it, and they want to argue about it and get heated about it. But it seems like a lot of young comedians fall into that trap and then start to get into wars, verbal wars online about, I know what I know about comedy. Have you seen any of that? Or have you been tempted to get involved in that? Have you gotten involved in that?
I definitely have seen it. It's I'm in Philadelphia. I mean, it's like it's his grassroots. People are like, "That's God here, man." Like
Yeah.
you got to talk about God the right way. Or some people are like, "That's Voldemort." You know what I mean? So we don't even say his name here. But he dude, I mean, it's a big moment for guys from Philly. Like everybody's like, "That's it, dude." Like you almost were on SNL, you got canceled, and then you were back up, and then there's a lot of opinions I have about it. I find myself not arguing about it. I think it's really cool to see that everybody has an opinion about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I've
good
seen
to
him
see
from
the
every level.
conversation, yeah.
Like I've seen him at shows in Philly, like just being around, seeing podcasts getting their start, or seeing different comedy shows around. My parents saw him at a VFW when he was a road comic, and they spelled his name wrong. They called him Shane McGillis. So like,
Yeah.
I try not to shit on the guy because I've seen him like rise around the entire dimension of it. So I definitely think it's cool, dude. It's cool like for anybody that's like working in the scene. If you're a comic, it's cool to see. To have an opinion about it, I think you're just looking for attention, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
That's weird because the very first show, not the very first show I did on cancel culture was right after his getting fired from Saturday Night Live. I was calling him Shane Gillis, and the three of the comedian guests on kept calling him Shane McGillis, and I was like, maybe I have it wrong. Maybe it is McGillis because I thought it was Gillis, and then they kept calling him McGillis, and then I started calling him McGillis, McGillis. And I don't know why people are tempted to do that.
That's why we've never had him on the show, Matt.
That is why.
Keep sending it to the wrong guy. This guy Shane McGillis is like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah. You know what? I got an email. Somebody. This is so weird. Somebody sent in a interview request to be on the program, and they asked for July 2nd. And they gave me this whole long bio and links and all this stuff. And I said, yeah, I'll confirm July 2nd, but why so far away? We have openings before that. And then she wrote back to me, I never sent this to you. I don't know who you are. Like, wait a minute. It's got your email. It comes from your email address. It's got your bio in it. How did it get here? I don't just like suck these in somehow by magic. Somebody went on the website and submitted your info. And then I looked her up. She's got her own show in England, basically a comedy show, basically trying to do it with you. And I said, you're welcome to come on the show. Okay, thanks. I'll be on July 2nd. Like, what the hell? What the? I don't know. Comedians.
I mean, she probably talked to the person that sent the email, and then they were like, "Oh, okay," and then we're like, "All right, great, we're on."
Yeah, she has her own Mary Bourne, and
Mary some people don't think to like neutralize that that
to inform you that I did something on your behalf.
Right.
Yeah. We are today just a little to let people know what we're about today. We're going to be talking about organized crime movies that are not the Godfather trilogy or Goodfellas. And the number one guest is going to win a T-shirt from minddogtv.com.
So we're trying to guess the songs from the movies, like instead, not the movie
No,
itself.
no, the movie itself.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
so
on
like,
the
it's
movies.
like Scarface as opposed to one of the songs from Scarface.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
not
Scarface.
mention titles yet unless you're ready to make the guesses, but yes.
Oh no, that wasn't a guess. That was just an example.
Well, don't.
My guess would be American Gangster, but that's only because I'm stealing Willie's thunder.
Well, we're going to go with the top 50. And you guys are, I just want to make sure that people understand the Willie and GD are not winning. They can't win. They're not allowed to
can't
win.
win. We can't win. We can't win our merchandise.
I'm not a winner at all. I've
But
tried winning. I'm
being from Philly, now there's a lot of organized crime and a lot of sort of organized crime movies that are based in Philly. Do you have any organized crime movies that are not The Godfather or Goodfellas that? And it doesn't have to be Philly, but I just figured.
I love Donnie Brasco. I mean, Donnie Brasco's great.
Donnie Brasco.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Casino.
A good one.
Casino's a great one.
That's got to be in the top 10.
Yeah. I don't think it's in the top 10. Hold on. Let me check.
Really? I'm surprised that that's not in the top 10.
There's a lot. Let me just say, I've got a list of the top 50 here.
Johnny Depp, Al Pacino. That's a great movie.
I got a list of the top 50 here. Now, in the list of the top 50, of course, Godfather is number 1 and Goodfellas is number 2. Well, we've already excluded them. But there's a lot on this list I'm sure people have never heard of.
Ocean's 11?
There's a lot on this
I'm
list.
Sure all the Ocean's movies got to be on there.
Yeah, no more names until I finish this thought here. A lot that people... lot that people never heard of. Some of them are older. There's a few comedies, and there are at least one, maybe two, that are the same movie but a remake, which is kind of cheesy.
Yeah. But I mean, for some of those, like I bet most of those are probably like Prohibition era movies, and I mean, you have limited choices for that if you want to be historically accurate.
Yeah. You know what? Donnie Brasco is not even in the list of the top 50.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's shut the fuck up. It's not get the fuck out of here. You don't even know how to do it, man.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you're right. For branding purposes.
Yeah.
Branding purposes. I mean, I'm wearing the sweater and everything. For fuck's sakes.
Anyway, that shut the fuck up is from Lord and His Lady, which airs on Tuesday nights here on the Mind Dog TV network, starring Willie and his wife, Danica. Anyway, so yeah, people are free to keep guessing there in the chat room if we want to talk about some of these movies.
Yeah, Casino's already been mentioned, which is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Surprising that Donnie Brasco, that's a true story too. So
yeah. I mean, I'm shocked that's not in the top 50. That's
we're guessing. We're guessing to see in the top 50. I'm trying to understand. Is that what?
Yeah.
Well,
we're just naming names. No, the people in the chat room are guessing the number one. Okay. The number one answer, my number one answer, the one that I picked for number one, which is in the private chat that people can see, that people on the staff can see. My number one, if they guess that one, they will win a T-shirt. Anyway, that's where we're at. But we can just keep naming. Naming. We'll go along. Yeah. So anyway, surprising now because there are some in here that I think suck. Number 47. I'm going to go down. I'm going to mention a couple of these. Number 47 on this list is The Irishman. Did you guys see The Irishman?
Oh yeah. The newer one that came out. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
3.5 hours of I'm falling asleep here. Make something happen.
Yeah, they could have done way better with that. Way better.
Any that you think, and whether it's in these lists or not, any mob movies that you think totally sucked?
Godfather.
My wife.
The Godfather movies.
All right, you're gone.
Black Mass.
He's totally done. He's never coming back now. He can never come back now. No, we know he's just trying to be funny, but he knows nothing about comedy. So What?
Black Mass. when
My
they did
wife
with
does
Johnny
not
Depp.
like Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis, which I thought was a pretty good movie, but she doesn't like that one.
I don't know. It's an organized crime movie.
Yeah. It's about
It-
the gangster era.
Probably.
Where's the one where Bruce Willis is like breaks into this house to steal the stuff because the kids have been being held hostage and their father is like an organized crime accountant.
Wow. I don't
And
know.
and the guy who plays the accountant is actually a stand-up comedian. He was in A Few Good Men. He played the other attorney with
Kevin Pollak, bro.
Yeah.
That was a movie called Hostage.
yeah. When the kids were being
Willie's
held
like
hostage.
IMDb.
Yeah, when the kids are being held hostage. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie. It's Hostage.
All right, we'll keep this going now. So far in the guesses, now you can't just put in 50 guesses. You got to Bill Rhodes is saying it's Scarface. No, that's not number one, and that is the movie that is in there twice. It was the original and the remake are both in the list. Then he also guessed Casino. Casino is in the list. It's not the one that I designated as the number one to win the
What
prize.
about the one with that guy Kevin Costner and he played Elliot Ness?
Untouchables.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
Untouchables.
Untouchables. Yeah,
Yeah, that's in the list.
wasn't
That's
Robert
definitely-
De Niro? Robert De Niro was
Al Capone.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Oh
Al
yeah,
Capone.
yes, very good.
I want his
forgot about that.
family dead. I want his dog.
And,
dead.
what
I
a
want his
cast,
hopes and
man!
dreams dead.
That movie, yeah. You had De Niro, you had what's his name? The James Bond, Sean Connery,
Enthusiasm.
Kevin Costner, what's his name?
Sean
Andrew
Connery.
Garcia. A lot of great people in that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll keep the conversation rolling. So and people can continue to guess. But Bill Rhodes, I mean, come on, let somebody else get a guess here. Tell me about your podcast. What is it called and when do you publish it?
All right, so I usually post it anywhere between like Tuesday to Thursday. It's called Let Me Call You Back. It's something I started with my brother, like when I started comedy. This stuff runs together, man. You like do so much. You have so many experiences. The joke I made with my little brother, like when I was doing all these like different mics in different towns on the Northeast, I called it my like colonial tour because I was in like Boston, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and he was like, "Dude, we should do a podcast because like you just call me every day and you tell me something crazy." And then like usually I get in a fight in traffic and yell at somebody, and I'm like, I gotta call you back. So like that's kind of like where it came from. Like our
Love
first
it.
episode, I yelled at somebody in traffic because my brother recorded a conversation of us on the phone, and a guy cut me off, and I called him the R word. I was like, "You," I lost it on the guy.
Republican?
So yeah, I am, but I'm
Yeah,
not proudly
yeah.
Republican, man. It's really hard to be a Republican these days.
Oh my God!
So I
You
thought
tell
my
Not
mom
as
told
hard
me
as
not
it is to be a retard.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty easy. It's a lot
Yeah.
easier to be a proud Republican, though. Actually, if you're retarded.
Wow.
Oh, did I just say the R word?
Yeah,
Get
no,
myself in trouble?
No, but it's a
I would
musical
agree.
term.
Well,
It's
that's
a
why I
musical term.
soft dropped R word. I wanted to make sure.
I
was allowed
know.
to say it.
It's a musical term.
Yeah, exactly.
I think people made that because listen, nobody would ever call a person who had learning disabilities a retard. Nobody, the retard is, unless you were a doctor and you'd say he was retarded. Yeah, but whatever. I think
Yeah,
people are just way too sensitive about words, and you know what? They want to play word police. It just makes me want to say the word because they don't want me to say the word. I have.
Yeah, I have a
Nope.
joke about it where I'm like, do you guys remember when the words gay and retarded became adjectives? Like, it's like and I have a whole story about it because like it's just like your parents say it. They get so caught up in it. Everybody's saying it. Your friends, your family. It's like, man, I don't want to be called
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now it started as me just talking to my little brother. He's an audio video guy. He has his degree from Baltimore Community College, and we were making it together. He's since then got a little bit busier, and I've gotten a little bit busier with my comedy passion, and I've made it more that it's not only just me and him talking. I interview other comedians. I recently interviewed Mike Racine in Brooklyn and everything. So I've been trying to get out and just interview whoever I can find that's interesting. A lot of times I'm getting testimonials of road comics. Sometimes I'm just talking to people I find it like I had a seam butcher on. He was a guy who talked about the art of butchering old world pork and everything. Like
Wow.
whoever I find interesting, man, I try to have an hour conversation with. And then I made a Patreon too, where I pretty much kind of do a little bit of the same thing, but I show some of my clips. Tales from the Road is something I do on my Patreon, where I interview a comic for like, say 20, 30 minutes right after a set or a mic. And I'm just like, yeah, who are you? What's up? How about tonight? Let's hear about it. And it's fun, man. I like it. It's the digital outlet is a very fun part of the creating.
Wow.
What do you do that on a laptop, or what do you record that on?
So we'll use a Zoom recorder a lot when it's in person. Like if it's, say, me and friends, if we're doing just like a stereo setting recording. If it's me and my brother together, we actually have a Rodecaster. And then if I have the opportunity to, I take the Rodecaster with me, and we'll do up to like a 3 to 4 person episode.
Now you call it roadie. That's a Philly thing, right?
I can't help it, man.
It's road. I think it's road. I mean, everybody I know calls it road. Anyway, I call you back in the phone thing, in the car thing. Years ago, a friend of mine was up visiting from Florida. He was staying at his father's house, and my son was with me in the car. And we were driving, and I had the guy on. I called the number on speakerphone and got the answer machine, and he was going through the speech about we leave a message at the beep, and just at that moment, somebody cut me off, and the beep happened just as me and my son were going, "You fucking scumbag, we'll kill you!" I quickly, oh shit, hung up. And then had to call back and say, "Listen, Mr. So-and-so, trying to explain what happened." But imagine you go to your answer machine, "You fucking scumbag, I'll kill
you." That's not meant for you, I swear, I promise.
Yeah. I got cut off. But are you a road rager? Because Northeast people, traffic-wise and all that stuff, especially when I was your age, I was extreme road rager.
I wouldn't say that I actually let it bother me sometimes, but I'm also like, it's the language of the people, man. I don't know what it is, but like, say like there's somebody like, for instance, I'm that guy, like you see somebody that like gets in a car accident and they're in the middle of the road and I roll my window down. I'm like, you can't park there. And the person's like, go fuck yourself. And I do shit like that. I heckle people while I'm driving around. So like, I really don't let shit take it like really like bother me. But I mean, if we're gonna make eye contact and be in traffic, I'll roll my window down and call you a cocksucker. I mean, it's
now. Have you ever done this one? Have you ever heard someone have a phone conversation? You know how the people do it on their phones out in public. You hear the one side, and then later on, like maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, when they're not on the phone, I'll talk to them about their conversation. Like I already know what's going on. Just to fuck with them.
Dude, it's insane like what you can do in traffic sometimes. I've like been blasting music. I was blasting I Ain't Got You Babe by Alicia Keys one time, and a guy pulled up next to me. He's like, "It's gonna be all right, man." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "She's gone." I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm acting like you like."
You're only blasting that for one reason, bro. And kudos to that guy for trying to lift the dude up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was a real reach out right there.
I don't think that's what was happening. I think he was busting his balls, like basically saying, "I know why you're listening to that."
No, I think he was like, I think he understood. Look, listen, there's only one reason he's blasting a song like that.
Right, but clearly you don't know the Philly attitude, because nobody's trying to lift anybody up. He's trying to put them down.
Yeah, he's trying to go around.
Come on now, it's the city of brotherly love. What are you talking about?
It's the city of brotherly murder.
I mean, love can be bloody sometimes.
Yeah,
dude, it's insane. I've had some of the worst experience with the road rage. I've had the nicest. I was in New York City and I'm trying to cross Times Square, and a guy in a taxi mounted the sidewalk. And I thought he was gonna yell at me, and he's like passing me because I'm in like a work truck, and he's like, "My friend, you must not stop. Fuck the pedestrians. Fuck the other traffic. Just keep going." And then he continued on the sidewalk and went around me and said, "Have a nice day." And I was like, that was the nicest road rage I've ever experienced. Like,
I think I've done that.
Well, yeah, it started with my friend,
Yeah, it was,
again, people just being super nice to you. That's great. It's because you got one of those spaces. You got one of those spaces. Even when you're mad, you still want to be nice. You know what I mean?
I try.
And speaking of Philly, I just because it's Philly, I'm wondering what happened to B size batteries. You have A and all the A's, A, double A, triple A, quadruple A. You have the C's and you have the D's. Why aren't there B size batteries? Does this have anything to do with Philadelphia throwing batteries at Santa
I was gonna
Claus?
say, I think we threw them all.
What
That year wasn't enough to put back on the shelves. You know what I mean?
I don't know what I see D cells they're called, not D batteries, but I see them all over the place. I don't know what you're
B
talking
cells?
about.
You see B cells?
Are
Yeah,
those camera batteries? Are those little like camera size batteries? Is that what those are?
flashlight batteries. They're big.
Mm.
They're you know. Maybe DD's right. Maybe they aren't everywhere, but they're definitely where I bought my AAA's yesterday because I was looking at the price of them and I was like, wow, that's fucking expensive.
You know,
Anyway,
when I want to extend the battery life of my fleshlight, I just use the what's the name of the product again?
turbo.
It's just a bunch of letters. I don't know how you
Yeah,
pronounce that either. By the way,
I think
acronym?
it's not called turbo on the site. It's like the forced ejaculation masturbator or something
No, I'm
like
talking
that.
about the people that emailed you the new product that wants to.
Oh yeah. Uh,
Wow, yeah,
it is just a bunch of letters. It's
Yeah, keep
XIANGJIU, delay spray
yeah,
for men's longer sex.
yeah.
Zhangzhou.
Make sure when you
Zhangzhou.
contact them, you get a pronunciation of their name, please.
Right. Yeah. How do you even put that in like phonetics that you could pronounce it? I don't know.
There isn't any.
All right. Let me go back to the list now. Number 50 is one of my brother's top mob movies, In Bruges. You know that one?
In Bruges?
I know
In
it.
Bruges. Bruges. It's
Never heard
2008.
of it.
What's the guy's name now? He's like a Declan, but he's Colin Farrell
Mm.
is in that
Oh,
movie. He's
sure,
a
yeah.
startup. Yeah, but that's number 50. Number 49 is Point Break. I'm just going to go through like 10 of these now, and we can go back to the guessing
Yeah,
and
okay, all
continue
right.
the
Point
conversation.
Break. All right.
Point Break. I didn't know that was Testament of Mr.
I
Mabuse,
mean, this is organized crime.
1933.
They were bank robbers. That's what their thing was.
Yeah, 1948. Oh, by the way, today is the anniversary of the North Hollywood shootout. 1998,
Oh
I
my
want to
god.
say it was.
Bro, Declan. No, you gotta so you gotta tell Declan that, dude, this guy, because how old are you, Declan? You're 39? You're
28.
29.
28,
I'll be 29.
29 in June or July.
Yeah, so he was alive then. He was a
Okay.
little kid.
Yeah.
So
He was a baby.
yeah, you were little. This was like
Yeah.
one of the first stories that I remember like stop people in their tracks. Because what year was this?
I think it was 98. Yeah, 98 February. It was today's date, and I think 98. Probably 98.
Yeah,
Who
and I mean,
who
26
like,
famously was the
years.
standoff?
these guys robbed the Bank of America, and there was a shootout in the street, and I think wasn't it shortly after one of the fucking one of the Lethal Weapon movies had the fucking dude that had the flamethrower and shit, and he had all the armor on, and it was shortly after that
Yeah,
movie came out, because I remember when I saw that movie thinking, how fucked would it be if criminals started wearing armor like that? And then boom,
Yeah.
these guys robbed the North Hollywood bank with fucking armor
Right.
on. This dude over here is in a building that was taking shots.
Yeah, my friend Frank, if he
Taking
did not
shots.
bow, if he would have gotten down like 1 second later, would have had his head completely blown off. But basically, these guys were so armored up that there were not enough police to make a difference for the first. I would say 3.5 hours of this gun battle. There were probably 400 cops on the streets, and everything just armored up, and they were PCP'd up enough that even if the shots got through the armor, that it didn't stop them because they were so friggin' drugged up, and they had been doing this for 3 or
Berserkers.
4 months, robbing banks in California. But this was in North Hollywood, and the alarm stopped, and the police reacted to it. And then the entire neighborhood was on lockdown. I happened to be in town, just got a motel across the street from that bank the night before, and we turned on the news, and it was all over the news. And then we got a phone call from the front desk saying, "Get down, lock your doors, and get down on the floor." And basically, that was the thought of it. Anyway,
Whoa.
what
happened
we'll
to
go.
Duke?
Yeah, so going back to the list now, number 48, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse, 1933. Now, that's one of the ones I said nobody has ever heard of. I don't know who starred in this thing, but it's a Nazi organized crime thing. 47 was The Irishman, I already talked about. 1960, The League of Gentlemen. You're familiar with that one? I think a
Are you
lot
talking
of
about?
what? Am I talking about what? I'm talking about a movie, The League of
Oh
Gentlemen.
no, I'm thinking of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I'm like, how the hell is that a monster movie? I'm like,
No,
that's what my brain
I
went.
don't think I know the League of Gentlemen. I don't think so.
The League of Gentlemen was a British military organized crime thing. It's basically, if I show you the picture, you'll think that's a Batman episode. It's guys in gas masks and with Tommy guns. It looks like a Batman episode. I'm just going down to 40, and then we'll continue the conversation. 45 is Get Carter, 1971. Michael Caine.
Oh, the 71 version. They redid that with Mel Gibson.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Number 44 is Why Don't You Play in Hell, 2013. Who's in this movie? I don't know. Why Don't You Play in Hell? It's
was
like
that,
a Jap.
Was the Get Carter? Was that called when he did the rebang? Was that called Payback? Because Payback was, I think, a Mel Gibson movie, and he just says,
"Oh yeah, there was a Mel Gibson movie called Payback." I don't know. Are they the same thing?
That's what I was asking, because one of the key characters was.
He also did a one called Get Carter.
Okay, right.
At number
Payback,
43,
I thought was a good movie. I like Payback. He said, all I want is my money.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of action for the buck.
No, it's really good.
Number 43, A Better Tomorrow, 1986.
I wonder if Man on Fire count. Does Man on Fire count with Denzel Washington?
I don't know.
Is
that was like an organized kidnapping ring that Denzel went up against.
I was thinking a drag movie.
Am I ever going to get down to 40? 42, Leon the Professional, 1994. 41.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You know that one? I don't know that one. 41, Kids Return, 1996. And I'm locked up here, so can't move. Can't move further. 41, it was the Kids Return. 40 is Triad Election, 2006. It's a Hong Kong thriller. A lot of these people don't know.
Any of the Keystone Cops movies get made it? Because they're kind of, or no, that's unorganized.
Yeah, it's disorganized crime.
Yeah.
Which most crime.
What about the Bowery Boys? Because they were kind of organized crime.
They were. Well, Bowery Boys got their start in a movie called Angels with Dirty Faces with Jimmy Cagney and Humphrey Bogart. That was a great movie. That's not in the list of top 50.
Your list is broken. Okay.
The list is often broken.
It's always broken. Yeah.
All these lists are completely subjective and all that kind of stuff. Now, Declan,
subjective means broken. I agree.
Declan, do you have you ever have you ever partaken in sex toy use? Do you have a big sex toy thing? I know your mom is listening, so but Shane Gillis was making fun of his family. I think you can too. Or he was talking about beating off in front of his. He said when his mom asked him when they stopped being best friends. He said the first time he beat off. All right, tell me about. Have you ever used a sex toy? Oh, are you muted?
That's how confessions go. He's like,
oh, I'm sorry. I hit the mute button for a second because I was texting somebody back. I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to sex toys. I'd be honest with you. I don't think either of us in our bedroom have used it, me or my girl. But I will say, it was pretty. I didn't think that was probably like one of the funnier parts of his monologue. I thought was like kind of hilarious when he said that because I remember when I found my parents' porn, like they had their own porn, and I found it in a drawer, and I was like, "What's this?" And it was fat people porn, and both my parents are fat.
Get the fuck out of here!
And so like years later, I've revisited this, and like I'm probably never gonna tell my mom to watch this interview, by the way. But like, I, dude, I've talked about this before. I'm like, you think about it, you're like, you guys couldn't have wanted more. You couldn't have watched like skinny people fuck. You were watching fat people fuck.
Yeah.
They were both pretty plump people growing up, and I was like, wow.
Just want to put something
They're
out to our,
realists. They
our
like
Philadelphia
they like
audience.
realism in their porn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
To our Philadelphia audience, please, if you are listening now, go through your phone book and find anybody named Brooks. Call them up and say, "Have you seen the Mind Dog TV Coffee with the Dog show?"
Oh my God. Why? That's far worse than the guy who was telling people to like go to the club and make a scene. Like, this guy's poor mother.
I'm getting a call from Philly right now. I don't have the phone lines hooked up. I'm sorry. When I do have the phone line, you can call back. I'm sorry. I didn't.
It's probably his mom right now
Yeah, right.
His mom.
offering an explanation as to why they had the porn.
It wasn't all fat people porn. There was some skinny people. We had midgets.
And we can't get her side of the story because
it could be worse, bro. When I was 9.
I was like, yeah, I know it was. It was a big joke.
When I was 9, I found my mother's dildo that on one side looked like the top side of a penis, and on the other side looked like the Virgin Mother Mary. And growing up a young Catholic boy, I found that to be very confusing.
Wow.
Well, at least you didn't have rosary beads attached to it for the backside. So
yeah, that'd be.
How do you know that?
Because he would have described it.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't put that in there.
That's not something you forget.
Yeah,
that's not something you forget.
Those aren't rosary beads.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Declan, are you in Philly now, or are you on the road somewhere?
I'm home this week. I just spent 3 weeks in Long Island, and now I'm home this week.
What were your impressions of Long Island?
It's funny, for being so close to New York, the comedy scene is like a lot deader than I expected. I think just 'cause it's so close. But I like Long Island in general just because like I'm a eater, and I would say the Latin American neighborhoods in like Central Islip are probably some of my favorite food I've had in the New York region, dude. Like some of the best bodega food I've had in a while.
It's funny how much food.
Long Island's great for that.
Yeah, how much food is for sale on Long Island? Like every other business is a food business, whether it's a restaurant, fast food, food truck. I mean, you would think we were a bunch of fat bastards, but
just bastards.
Yeah. We're not that hungry. I'm not that hungry. I mean, I like pizza and I like bacon, egg, and cheese. Those are the Long Island things. Anyway, but the comedy scene here, comedy club wise, we are limited to Governors, which has 3 locations, and Sticks and Stones as traditional comedy clubs. There are theaters where there's comedy happening. The Long Island Comedy Festival, which seems to be a never-ending thing in theaters all over the place. But there's a lot of these pop-up pizza shop comedy shows, coffee comedy shows, and all that kind of stuff. So there is a lot of comedy here. A lot of comedians, a lot of people.
Yeah, I definitely will say I enjoyed it. Like it was I'll say this. I don't know if it's the young man's comedy scene. I have to be honest with you, because like I've gone out and it seems like everybody that's young, it's like I'll take the train to the city. So like a lot of times it's actually better because I get to enjoy like an older crowd because I get to learn a little more, or like get to relax instead of everybody sitting there like, all right, is this guy done? I need to go to the next spot. Like it's like I like Royals. Royals is a fun little bar to go to. When I'm in Long Island, I try to stop there. It's like I think that's what it's called. I'm trying to think of the names that I stop. Other places I go to. I usually stay in Hauppauge. I stay in that central Long Island area.
Oh, the industrial park of the world.
Exactly.
Hauppauge is the biggest industrial park in the world, by the way. But I think you hit on something here. Now, you said it's not a young man's comedy scene, and I think part of that, young, of course, is an important word in there, but I think man's, because there are women here, and the younger women seem to be getting more exposure. I don't see any young male comedians or many young male comedians here. Most of the comedians here are definitely 35 and up, male, and they are guys who are clubbers who are really not looking for, the big national exposure. They're looking for East Coast, up and down, Pocono work, clubs in New York City, clubs in Miami, you know, all along the East Coast here. But they're not necessarily these people looking for national touring and that kind of stuff. But also, I'm seeing a lot of women, a lot of younger women 30 and under, who are actually making it big, or not making it big, making a big splash here on Long Island. So that's part of it.
It's funny to hear it. It's funny to hear that exact observation because I agree, like
Yeah.
100%. Like it's funny how you see all the pockets change. You go 40 miles one way or another.
Yeah. Now, so do you have any shows coming up that you want to promote? Anything you want to let people know about?
I actually just finished the Good Karma Comedy Festival, so like I don't have anything big going yet. Hey man, if you want to book me, hit me up, man. I'm a newer comedian. I don't have a ton of dates going. I got a couple different like showcases popping up, but nothing concrete over the next couple weeks. So just doing some interviews. Trying to think if I do actually have anything coming up. April. That's how far out it is. April
April's not that
17th.
far.
Yeah, April 17th. I'll be doing a show for Off the Leash Comedy. I'm speaking wrong on that, so I don't want to sit there and misspeak on that. But yeah, if you want to find me, go on my Instagram, look up Declan Loves Meatballs. You'll see me post my stuff because I'm going to be saying the wrong dates here right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's the best way. So I think we have your info in the description. Let me just check on that. Why am I
Yeah,
locking
and
up?
find my podcast. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see my name and you'll see my podcast. But if you want to find the podcast page, it's at 555. Let me call you back is the handle. Like I said, Tuesdays through Thursdays, you'll find episodes, and we really appreciate any support. I mean, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity for this. This is awesome. This was fun.
We'll come back.
Yeah, man, great having you.
Yeah,
Yeah, anytime. This was fun.
All right. Have a great day, and it's time to move along. Thank you, Declan. Yeah, your
Yeah,
stuff is in your links are in the description for people who want to follow you. I hope people will, and I think we follow each other on Twitter, right? I think so.
Yeah, we followed each other on Twitter. Yeah, you followed me first. I was like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah.
No,
Who's this guy? Well, that was Nate Kelp, by the way. That's a little confusing. My handle, because I've been banned from Twitter 11 times, which is a whole other thing.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you guys have a great day. Thank you. This was fun. I look forward to the next one.
Have a great day. Bye for now. Declan Brooks, folks. I want to mention this because Steve Byrne, comedian, you know, he's a very successful comedian, film director and producer, television show Sullivan and Son. Steve Byrne has been on the program once, about 4 or 5 years ago, and at the time he was on was a time that I got suspended from Twitter for retweeting something that he tweeted. So I'm basically, it was this. It was right at the height of the pandemic, when the pandemic was just starting. It was his first show during the pandemic. It was in Miami because they didn't shut down. And it was right after the George Floyd thing. And he was doing crowd work. And there was a black couple in the first row, and then there was a white couple over here, and he was asking people what they do, talking to the black guy first, and then he went to the other guy, and he was a cop, and he's like, "Well, there's and because of all the shit that was going on with the George Floyd stuff," he said, "Figured there's an opportunity here for something. I don't know what it is." He got the black couple and the white cop to do shots together. And he posted that in a video about it, and it was kind of like him trying to make a political statement about bringing people together. And I retweeted it, but with a caveat that I said, "Asian guy, black people, white cop, 6 shots, nobody got killed," and it was 6 shots of tequila. But Twitter said that was hate speech. I was promoting hate speech. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm making a joke about what went on in a comedy club. Anyway, he was on the show, and we talked about that. Over the weekend, Friday night, he posted something about his shorts not getting any attention. He's getting no views, and he thought he was shadow banned on YouTube. And I said, no, that's not it. They changed their algorithm twice a week. They changed the rules twice a week, and you're just not playing by their rules. And if you did, you would get views. And I know people who work for YouTube, and they told me because of my political stuff, they are banning that. No, because I have political stuff on all the time. I've had extremists from both sides. I've had moderates. I've had centrists. We talk about politics all the time. We don't get shadow banned. Why would you? It doesn't make any sense. And this girl came back. She was and female Alex Jones. Oh, you don't know about censorship, male penis and frog penis and coke cans. And I was like, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I do this every fucking day. I know about the rules and I know how they change them. Humans are behind every algorithm. Yeah, but that's not how YouTube works. I've been banned. I've been censored on YouTube. The way it works is they shut you down. They say, this is a strike. You're off for a week. They don't just say, oh, we're not going to show your content to people, because they make money off of showing content to people. They're not in the business of that. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Do you even have a fucking YouTube channel? She went on to argue with me. I said, let me prove something to you. So I went back and made a reel of short of the conversation that Steve Byrne and I had about politics, about the issue at the time. I put Steve Byrne's name in the title. I had him talking the whole time about politics. I put keywords that were just Steve Byrne, political, all this stuff, and put it on there. I said, I guarantee within an hour we'll have a couple of thousand views on 2.6 in the first hour. I said, if they're shadow banning him, they're doing a really poor job, because this is his name, him talking about politics, and it's getting 2,600 in an hour. Maybe somebody's wrong here. Oh, you don't know. And she, just refusing to give an answer. And then she starts telling me, you should read Biden versus Missouri. I know that case. That's not how YouTube works. I'm talking about one comedian here claiming he was shadow banned, and he's not. And I proved it. And you can't say I was wrong. You're going to continue down this Alex Jones road until you just fall off a cliff here. Basically, YouTube does not. Yeah, YouTube doesn't operate that way. They do censor. I've been censored. And she said, oh, you don't believe in censorship. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're being naive. I said, I told you 3 times I've been censored by YouTube. I know how it works. They give you a strike and put you out for 7 days. You can't post anything. Got me worked up. Anyway, Stephen Ortiz is back today. Speaking of censorship, the sitcom is back. Let's censor him. How are you, Stephen? What's going on?
Oh, not bad at all. Just living the dream, man.
Is that
recover?
Is that a real backdrop, or is that a like a green screen type of thing you got going on?
It was a green screen of a pic that I grabbed just to throw something up, so you guys didn't make fun of my blurred background again.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, I think the insinuation made by Willie at the time was that you had a bunch of sex toys back there, right? Or is that
right?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
I did.
Yes.
I did
Yes.
say that.
Yes, that hasn't changed. They've just gotten crazier, and I didn't want you to get demonetized.
I don't know. Well, no, that wouldn't get us demonetized. That would get us sponsorship opportunities. Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Based on the show, we're getting delay your fucking orgasm spray
Right.
opportunities. That's fabulous.
What do you think?
Right.
Because they said that this is your audience would be perfect. Whatever they said this.
I think they're right.
But how do you
Because
think they
listen-
made that judgment about the audience
Well,
needing
because I think that
ejaculation delay?
Yeah,
My
I think
guess
that
is they're
one of
going
the
off the
things-
algorithm.
Yeah, one of the
Oh.
things that we've talked about in our content is the importance of a woman coming. Okay, and most guys out there, they need to delay their orgasm in order for that to happen, especially if they're not going to be particularly focused on foreplay, which unfortunately a lot of guys aren't. You know what I mean?
Look,
But
well,
the more you
first of all-
prime the engine, the better the engine's going to run. I got to tell you. You know
I don't
what
believe in foreplay. My wife and I go one-on-one, okay? It's one-on-one. We don't do the 4s, the 5s, all that group stuff. So yeah, that's why I don't do foreplay. It's one-on-one. It's just me and her. So we're just not in the same place. Not everybody has the same formula for sex.
Yeah, that's wild. I don't know what to say to that.
He's whipped.
Yeah.
He's totally whipped. Totally
Poor
whipped.
guy.
He's afraid. He lives his life in fear that she's going to come through the door and beat the shit out of him any moment. So he
No,
just-
that's not
See, now
fair.
that
It's
would
a
actually make me
possibility.
come quicker. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I might need the spray after all. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Stephen, this morning we're talking about organized crime films that are not The Godfather or Goodfellas, and we put it. The audience is free to guess to win a T-shirt, the number one choice that I have made. But we're going through a list of the top 50 now. We're down to 39. The first 10 were not of the standard that most people, some people don't even know about the movies, and they're, not necessarily the best ones. Do you have a favorite gangster organized crime movie? Not necessarily mafia, but organized crime film.
Oh boy.
Not The Godfather or
So-
Goodfellas, by the way.
I do, but it's gonna get me a lot of hate, and it's because I like making fun of them a lot. But it's the Fast and Furious movies.
Fast and Furious. All right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not in the list, by the way.
I
But
guess, yeah, technically that counts. That totally counts.
technically, right? Yeah,
they made like
They're
7 of
horrible
them,
now,
right?
But there's like a 10 or 11 of them or something like that. Yeah.
They have like 10 with the title Fast and Furious in it. Then they have like the offshoot movies with like some agent, special agent, or some muscle bound guy, that kind of shit.
Evil.
And only who I know about it because my wife is a huge Venn diagram actor fan.
Is there like a rule that your wife has that you have to mention her in every comment that you make, or she will beat you?
Not that she'll beat me.
All right,
dude.
Not liking foreplay sure are whipped a lot.
All right, I'm going to go through the next 10 down to 30, starting at 39. And if anybody has any comments on these movies, especially if they're funny comments, The Hot Rock, number 39. You know the movie The Hot Rock?
No.
Never heard of it.
Oh, well, it's about a diamond that gets stolen and has to get shit out. It gets stolen by getting eaten, swallowed, and it needs to be shit out. That's why it's called The Hot Rock.
That can tear your shit up, bro. That can tear up your whole insides.
Yeah, that's
Robert
Redford stars in that. What was it? 1972.
That's
number
why
30.
I don't know it.
Yeah, well, this one you probably won't know too. Le Cercle Rouge, 1970. Number 37, Gun Crazy, 1950. I don't even know that one. Let me see who's in that. Nobody I know. Nobody you know. Number 36, Casino, 1995. Any comments on that one? You guys know Casino.
What number was that?
That's 36.
Yeah, I have.
That's pretty fucking low. That's pretty low for Casino, in my opinion. That's
who's
terrible.
in that?
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro.
Okay.
Don Rickles. Don Rickles was in
Don
that
Rickles
movie.
Just based off the cast, I feel like that should probably be higher. I've never seen it, but I mean, cast alone.
The chick.
What
Blazing Saddles.
The female lead in that was Sharon. Who was it?
Sharon Stone, right? Yeah, Sharon Stone was. I think she was doing both De Niro and Pesci. She was married to one, but doing the other.
She sought refuge in Pesci, which is pretty much why Pesci. Well, I mean, he got beat to death for some other shit, but I mean, that movie was fucking crazy.
A lot of these are older, and that's why most people won't know them. I don't know who compiled this list. Time Out did, by the way. Touch of Evil is number 35. That's from 1959. Number 34 was The King of New York.
You talking about with Christopher Walken?
No.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, Christopher Walken. Yes,
I've seen that one.
Man, I've only seen it once or twice, and it's a long time ago.
Number 33, City of God, 2002.
New Jack City?
Nope. City of God, Reductive Call, Fernando Meirelles and Keitra Lunds. I don't even know that one. Brazilian Godfather.
Yeah, I missed that.
Number 32 is The French Connection, 1971. You guys got to know that one, right? No, it's a classic.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I don't really remember it.
Most of these have been made before my mom and my grandparents.
Right, yes. 31 is a Tokyo Drifter, 1966.
I thought that was Fast and Furious for a second. but nope, I don't know that one.
All right, this one is definitely more relevant, but more recent. But I never heard of it. Number 30, down to number 30. No Sudden Move, 2021. You guys familiar with that? Steven Soderbergh. No, I don't know it. All right. Well, that's where we are so far. And what are the guesses like in the chat room? We got any guesses in the chat room there?
Ocean's 11, which I
Ocean's
guessed
11
and
is
was
the
wrong.
last guess.
Not in the list. Ocean's 11
That's
is not in the list.
crazy. I would have expected that.
Who's Mr. Tongues? Mr. Tongues.
What about The Departed? Is The Departed on the list?
You know what? The Departed should be on the list, but it's not.
Wow.
I know there's a broken list. We can say that a million times. But yeah, so
that's the one I was thinking of. Now You See Me. That's the other crime movie that I liked a lot.
who's in that?
It's got Woody
Murphy?
It's got let's see here.
Oh, The Magicians. Yeah.
Okay. It's got Mark
it's like
Ruffalo.
that's organized crime. And they
James
use
Franco's little brother.
Like world renowned. It's really good. Yeah.
Yep. Woody Harrelson. Oh yeah.
Oh, Woody Harrelson. Yeah,
super good.
A natural for.
They made like 3 of those, I think.
I'm only aware of 2. The Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too.
Now, Woody Harrelson's father was a real hitman, right? Or according to his a lot of what the internet lore is about.
That
was actually why Oliver Stone cast him in Natural Born Killers.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we will come back to the list. Stephen, did you watch the Shane Gillis thing? Did you have any comment on it, or the reaction to it?
Hey, you know what? I think one, in my opinion, that was the cherry on top of the FU to cancel culture for him. Fired from the show, canceled, and then gets big enough to get invited back on and host the show. Like, that's pretty badass. I think he could have been a little meaner with the monologue, and I think SNL deserved it 100%. I think he definitely could have hit harder. But I can respect the safe move to move his career on, because we got to remember he's not one of these guys that's been in comedy for 40 years or been acting for 40 years. He's was on the up and up, got canceled, and had to restart basically. So kudos to him, 100%.
You know what struck me is the amount of people who wanted to cash in on having been connected to him long ago. Like, people were saying, "Oh, I knew Shane Gillis 10 years ago," and when nobody knew him, and all the amount of people coming out of the woodwork to try to connect themselves to Shane Gillis all of a sudden is mind-boggling. I can't even keep track of them. And
no, it's horrible.
Yeah,
I knew him back when he was Shane McGillis.
I think Willie. I think that this is what Willie is looking forward to. Is like people that I know Willie Wed moments, and I think.
Oh yeah, no, there's gonna. You know what? Listen, I'm definitely gonna remember who the real supporters were. That's for fucking sure.
Oh, I'm wondering how Shane Gillis feels about all these people coming out of the woodwork. Because I would love to see him say, you know what, fuck that guy. He wasn't really close to me.
100%.
Yeah, and I think Shane's the kind of guy that'll put people in their place when it needs to happen too. You know what I mean?
But he didn't.
He
didn't this weekend when he had the opportunity to do it to
Lauren.
Lauren.
But I mean, there's a difference. I think there's a difference between doing it publicly like that or whatever. Not everybody's going to be the Doors on Ed Sullivan and burn their one opportunity. You know what I mean? Like I don't see anything wrong with taking the road that's going to get you invited back, because I mean, you'd be stupid to not want to be involved with the show. And withholding in that situation, can also make it to where other people feel safe booking you that may not have booked you prior to that too. But if you take those shots, you're like, okay, well, if we do something that upsets this guy, we're gonna get bad press about it. Yeah, you know what I mean? And nobody wants that shit.
Yeah. No.
But I think we also forget too that he's a New York comic. So being a New York
Right.
comic and making it to SNL, I mean, that's
SNL
pretty
is
much
huge, yeah.
that's a Super Bowl level move for a New York comic, right? Like that's
Yeah.
huge. So I mean, again, I don't think I would have done it much different. Like I said, kudos to him.
Is he a New York comic? I mean, I know that before he got canceled, the original time, where before he got fired, he was basically working in New York. But I think he considers himself a Western Pennsylvania comic, which I don't. That's not like a thing. Ron Kane is the only. But yeah, nobody ever wants to be known. Hey, I'm a Western Pennsylvania comic. Like, but that's Steve Byrne. Come to think of it.
So Stephen, if I understand you correctly, then when you said you wouldn't have done anything differently or much differently, you mean you would have talked about Shane's family just like he did?
100%.
Okay.
Dude, I'm in a wheelchair. There's no disability.
Football coach.
Yeah, there's no disability that's off the table, bro. I'll make fun of anything. I'm down for anything.
You'd have done the football coach bit, and your father being an assistant soccer mom coach thing. You'd have done all those.
I think my parents being soccer players and then me trying out to be a kicker on a football team would have been hilarious. So yeah,
okay, gotcha.
100%.
Well, one of the things that jumps out is the people who were just waiting to find something to get outraged about, and the Down syndrome jokes that he made were not, in my view, offensive to Down syndrome people.
No.
I think it was, if anything, it was supportive of Down syndrome people. But people were just waiting for one word for him to say, so I can go on Twitter and cause some outrage about it.
It is so. Ever since this Cat Williams thing hit, right? Like outrage and being pissed off and hating on everyone or finding a reason to be mad has become so popular. It's disgusting. It's so awful. Like, why?
Right.
I get mad about people finding reasons to get mad. That really infuriates me.
Makes me sad. Like,
yeah.
It makes me sad. Like, why?
We're just so bored with our own lives that we need to create drama for other people's lives. Like,
Bro, I don't care if you're at my table or not. I want to see you win. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to eat at the same table, but let's go win together, man. Fuck it. Like,
I just want to point out Evil's comment. Dave Landau was clout chasing Shane on Twitter, saying he opened for me once. I saw that. I saw it on Facebook. But yeah, he's one of the thousands of people who will all of a sudden want some kind of connection to Shane. And you know what? I understand it's a network show, but SNL is a fucking joke among most comedians. Like, it's weird how nobody cares about the fucking show. It's a terrible show. I think it's a terrible show. I really don't know for a fact because I don't watch it. I haven't watched it in a long time.
There's still an honor to be invited to be a part of it in the comedy community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's what I mean. There's still that cachet that people hate it, but they want to be part of it. It's just so fucking weird. It's like, make up your mind. Do you hate it or do you want to be on it? Most people who have been on it say it was a terrible experience. It's a dog-eat-dog world. People stealing jokes from each other, stabbing each other in the back all the time. It's not a good experience, but it has made or break many superstar careers, starting with Chevy Chase, John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Adam Sandler. Right. You can go on and on about all the people it made into major stars, but was it worth it in the end? I don't know.
Garrett Morris made Garrett Morris huge.
Yeah. Who? Who's Garrett Morris?
You don't know who Garrett Morris is?
Chico Escuela.
Yeah, you know how long he's been waiting to say that? Just to be there.
Baseball been very good to me. Mr. Sitcom, I want to bring you into some controversy here. Are you familiar with Joe? Go. Are you familiar with Joe Urell?
I am not.
He's in a wheelchair as well. He's been on Roast Battle and all this stuff.
Okay.
He has made just a passionate life obsession with calling out comedy clubs for not being wheelchair accessible. Now he is in the Southern California area, and maybe the comedy clubs that he's frequently on. But you bring a ramp to your own shows, and you have made the best of it. And we talked to you about this. He is. To the point where he's always angry about it and wondering why is my career not going forward. I think you are an example of the opposite of saying, I'll deal with my issues myself, but I'm not going to try to be angry. A comedian thing is to make people laugh and bring joy into people's lives. And I think he's just making by constantly being angry about it, not helping his career at all, and then using that every time his career is stalled because of his anger, coming back to the fact that he's in a chair as being the reason for it, and making, using it as an excuse for not being successful. You're not doing that. You're doing the opposite. You're taking life in your own hands, as it it may be, but and your career in your own hands. I applaud you for that, but I just wonder,
Thank you.
Do you have any kind of understanding of? Because if I were in a chair my whole life, I would be angry at the world too. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But
Yeah.
at some point, you have to say, "Is this serving me?" Do you have any comment on that?
Man, a couple. So starting with the clubs thing, I think there's a way to approach bringing awareness to it. I think a better way to do it would be, let's get a bunch of us crippy folks, throw us on a short bus, and let's hit a bunch of clubs that we know aren't accessible. Let's go in, let's put on a hell of a show, and let's show them, hey, we can come back, we can get on the stage and figure it out next time, work with you guys. If not, we'll bring something, we'll work it out next time, but at least bring awareness to it.
Right.
As far as being angry about it, look, I was bullied my whole life. I've had every reason to absolutely hate my life for being in a wheelchair. When I was young, it never stopped me. Teenager through adult, I struggled with it a lot, going to therapy, coming to terms with it, and then learning to love myself and accepting it. And that was around the time that I started doing comedy. And you can be as miserable as you want, but it's not going to help your situation. If you want to sit there, you want to rot, you want to make everyone miserable around you, you want to call out every club you go to and make them look bad for something that, sure, they maybe should have considered, but it slipped their mind. Oops. Like, why be miserable about it? You're a comedian. The world's shitty enough. Let's bring some joy to people, whether it's for 5 minutes or an hour. Let's distract the world and bring some happiness.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely, you know what, especially if you're a comedian. If you're a poet, anger can help your career.
Sure.
If you-
100%.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But being a comedian, your idea is to make people happy, make people laugh. And if you forget that, then, and there are legitimate reasons to be angry and all that stuff, but you make a joke about it. And if you have to get on a soapbox about something, make them the butt of your humor, and that's the best way to get it out of your system, express yourself, and also get back at them if you feel like that.
Yeah, like when I went to the Brickies event, my first 15 minutes there, I flipped my wheelchair over coming in through the door. Okay. Most people would have been embarrassed, would have freaked out, would have been pissed off, got in the chair. Everyone in the bar is just staring. And I'm just like, man, that first step's a doozy, And then I did my set. The first joke I made was, guess what? Y'all got to see the world record of the first guy in a wheelchair who happened to trip. Like, you know what? It's stupid, but it sucked. It hurt. But you know what? I made light of it and I had fun with it. Like, could I have gotten pissed off that they didn't smooth the floor out for wheelchairs? The door was almost not wide enough. Fuck you. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Get over it. Get off the cross. We need the wood to build a ramp to get up on the the Stop it.
I forget where it was, but a bunch of guys I know did a show with a guy in a wheelchair, and they and it did not have a ramp, the place, but they made a big deal of the other comedians carrying his chair up onto the stage, and it was kind of a cool thing. But I'm coming back to the organized crime thing. We're back in the list again, going down the next 10 from 29 to 20. 29 is Scarface. The original Scarface,
Wow, all
1933.
the way down to 20. I mean,
Okay.
at least it's top 30. Geez.
1932, the original Scarface,
It's-
and then number 28 is Scarface, 1983, Al Pacino.
Interesting. They were back to back, huh?
Yeah. Well, that just shows you how lazy the list
Is
could be.
True
I-
Romance
those-
in this list? Because that's my wife and I's favorite.
Not yet. We'll see. But Mike Chavola had mentioned the Untouchables. That's in the list. That's up pretty high up in the list, by the way. Number 27, The Warriors. You guys familiar with Warriors? You got to be familiar with Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors. Yeah.
1979.
Bottles, yeah.
Steven, you don't know it?
Nope.
Oh, you got to watch it, man. You got to watch that one.
I will put that on the list.
Come out and play.
Yeah, Warriors. 1926, Performance, which is a 1970 movie. Mick Jagger stars in it. I don't know it.
Ugh.
What?
I'm all locked.
It must be great then, right? I
You
don't
know it?
I don't know.
You know
yeah,
it well?
yeah, okay. No,
All right. Number 25 is a great organized
I'm
crime
mad
movie.
that I
but
watched Jumping Jack Flash.
this is from 1954, On the Waterfront. Great mob movie. Now, did they make a remake of that, On the Waterfront?
Yeah, but I think they called it something different. I
Ah,
think the remake is called it went by a different title.
I think they called it now for something completely different. I think is what they called it.
no. That's wrong. That's just wrong. And that's enough. You can't get fired 10 times in one show.
What's the record?
Going for a record.
He is going for a record.
No,
now that was Marlon Brando and Rod Steiger in that movie. Great movie. Number 24, Boys in the Hood, 1991. Yeah,
Really? They got
Okay,
boys in
that's
the hood,
a-
but not New Jack City?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Maybe
'cause
that's
it's got-
higher in the list. That
It's
could be on the list.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is in that.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Number 23 is a comedy, The Sting. Paul Newman, Robert Redford,
Oh, okay, sure.
and Reverend Jelly Roll's
I know the
dog is
tune.
named after Scott Joplin, who wrote that song.
I forgot. Oh, yeah.
What the
No,
hell?
his dog's name is Stop Dropping.
Oh, Scott Droppin. I thought it was
Stop
Scott
Dropping.
Joplin.
Yeah, because
All right.
the whole family's last name is Roll, so
Excuse me,
Stop
sorry.
Dropping.
Number 22, Infernal Affairs. It doesn't even have a year for this. I don't know when it came out. You guys familiar with that one? Number 21 is The Untouchables. And number
that
20 is Widows 2018. You guys know the Widows 2018?
No, I've never.
Is
even
that
heard
the
of
one
it.
about the women whose husbands died and they're like organized crime?
Shut. You know what, dude? You don't. Man.
So it looks like nobody's going to win a T-shirt today because we have 19 more left, and 2 of them are already disqualified. More than 2 of them are already disqualified. Nobody's going to win this T-shirt today. I'm not going to tell you what it is anyway.
We need more guessers. Come on, chat. Let's see
Yeah.
some guesses in the chat, y'all.
It's a tough one.
Don't be
Mind
screwed.
TV Radio.
What?
Mind TV Radio. Mind Dog Radio.
You know, we
What about-
should allow yeah, you know, for people driving, we should find a way for them to be able
From
to
the call in, but I didn't hook up the phone. Next time I'll hook up the phone lines and keep the phone lines hooked up from now on.
Yeah, maybe-
I just don't want to do that because I get I get a ton of spam calls every day, and often I don't know who's calling in. I have nobody to screen the calls for me. I don't want to just take all these friggin' spam calls all day long.
Yeah. I could imagine. I was having a brain fart. I'm having for another one that I watched recently. That was amazing. The Irishman.
Oh yeah, that's like 49.
Was
I
that
thought
on there
that
already?
sucked.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really low on the list. It was.
I
Really
thought
was
that
a-
sucked.
we
What,
did the
what
top
did
10.
you like that movie?
I really liked that movie. The age regression, like the whole thing they did, it looked really good. I really enjoyed that. I did.
You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to say goodbye to Gubs.
Oh, thank you for reminding me of that.
It's right at that time.
Let's let them hang for a few minutes. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us more about the record show that you were a part of?
Sure, yeah.
Because
So
that was during your birthday weekend too, right?
it was, yeah. So from the 14th to the 18th was the Bricky's World Record Comedy Festival. Or we'll call it the Comedy Festival, but it was a world record attempt at the world record's longest comedy show, which we hit
Which
like
you did
82
great.
and a half hours.
Right,
Which we were able
right.
to do. Yes. Yep. We were able to do it. I went on the 16th. I did 15 minutes, which was really odd for, it was 9 a.m. was my set.
That's what I was going to ask you. Time slots.
Yeah, it was really weird. So I got there the night before, hung out for about 6 hours, watched a bunch of people